But there's multiple jail points, right, or prison points, right? Where it's not may not be you being in prison for being bad or anything like that, but like it's a different kind of prison where it's like a mental prison of not being able to free yourself from bondage to be independent. Because there's a one where on the lower form you're bad and you're in the spirit world prison. But then when you're on just regular earth, when you're regular earth and you're on nine, right? So you're under the first level of gods and devils, right? If you don't listen to the gods, the devils get you, right? So we usually come through and see what you have and see which one's ready to be free from that bondage. And then we bring them and go ahead, go to school. You work for me, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of get your, the second bondage of being freed is the one from actually being in school, right? Where you get a 19 loop, 20, 30, where you have to be clean, right? And you don't have a soul yet. So it's all about going, even if you got life force, it's not the same, right? Because anybody can get life force on the outside that's stolen, right? You have to be clean with soul, right? Which is the first level of bondage you'll be free from when you get clean. And that's you have to go to school to do that because they don't hand it out any type of way. The second, the third bondage is basically you not having a soul. So you have to get a soul when you get a soul on 40. And that's like, what I mean? That's what you're looking at from being having the soul on 40. And now, if it's clean, it's clean. It stays that way, it stays that way. So 40, 50, right? Um, the 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 fourth level of bondage of prison you have to be free from is basically from under the six, right? Because they're the one that govern the physical world, right? So if you don't have an ID that's higher than the six, then you're going to be enslaved, whether through fear or um, doing what they want you to do out of gifts and stuff. Whether you won't be able to come out the rat race. They're like, hey, I'll just give you this. Hey, remember this. So that's the next level. Um, then you have the other bondage of secret societies, right? Where you might have got yourself caught up, like at 50, you know what I mean? Where you might have had to free yourself, where you have to be spiritually um, free from bondage, where you're not free because you're still putting somebody else as a god or yourself as a god, you know. So you have to be able to look at it and get yourself free spiritual. This is spiritual right here. When somebody do this, when they do this, that's heart. When they do this, it's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? When they do this, it's the mind. Right? When they do that, right, that's the body. Right? That's the sexual organ, right? That they talk about sex. So when you're looking at it, it's going. You're not free spiritually. That means you haven't given yourself to God, the creator of all creation. Because you can have a soul, but it's not cleansed in the purest way. That's why it's called purification, right? In the purest way possible. That's why it's called being pure, right? Because you're cleansed by the creator of all creation, and then eventually you get to know and go into heaven.